moving around to at some point get them out of there. So I figure they'll be fine.
Some held onto vehicles until help arrived. Small children and adults unable to walk were the first to get carried out.
The Justice Department says it will respond in court to former President Trump's new pushback over the FBI search at Mar-a-Lago. CBS's Stephen Portnoy.
Sources confirmed to CBS News that in 15 boxes voluntarily handed over by the former president earlier this year, more than 150 documents marked classified were discovered. Following the FBI seizure earlier this month, the New York Times says the total number of classified documents stored at Mar-a-Lago tops 300. Trump's legal team is now trying to stop the FBI's review of what it took, claiming it's covered by executive privilege. Many legal experts say that's a specious claim, likely to fail.
The government's poised to pump a new $3 billion arms package to Ukraine to mark that country's Independence Day this week. Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 113 points. The NASDAQ is up 30 points. This is CBS News.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring system helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
7:03 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS. A little wildfire smoke making for a hazy day ahead after the clouds break up. Good morning. I'm Holly Kwan. Here's what's happening. Throughout the pandemic, testing for COVID has been free under federal law. But as KCBS's Jennifer Hodges reports, Kaiser patients say they were charged, and now they filed a class action lawsuit against the healthcare giant.
Insurers are still required to cover the cost of a COVID test, many say for good reason.
If people believed that they were going to be charged for COVID testing, they may not get tested, and this was certainly not the health policy that the federal and state governments were encouraging during the height of the pandemic.
Legal analyst Steve Clark, the lawsuit was filed by a Sacramento woman in Alameda County who claimed she received a nasal swab COVID test as a Kaiser member and then was charged over $300 for it.
This lawsuit accused federal rules for free testing by bundling COVID tests with other tests the patient may not have requested.
The Kaiser bundle also included a flu shot. Kaiser did issue a statement saying they are reviewing the allegations, adding their policy is not to charge for COVID tests. Jennifer Hodges, KCBS.
State prison officials say a potential breach of its data systems may have compromised medical information for staff and others who were tested for COVID between... says its staff took immediate action to suspend all affected systems, notify authorities, and launch a multi-agency investigation. No word on how many people were affected. The investigation showed no sign that anyone accessed, copied, or even looked at the information. Despite the governor vetoing a controversial bill that would have allowed San Francisco and Oakland to open safe places to inject drugs, San Francisco city attorney says he'd be okay if organizations wanted to open a safe injection site of their own. City Attorney David Chu said he would support a nonprofit opening a safe injection site like the ones run in New York right now. They are unsanctioned and unprosecuted.
I think to save lives, we should consider a nonprofit moving forward with New York's model of overdose prevention programs. Recently, in New York, a nonprofit has moved forward with an overdose prevention program. The United States government has allowed the sites to continue. I think this is something we need to consider to save lives.
He says they've done enough research to know what works and what the safeguards should be, but there are still a lot of conversations to be had before one opens up. According to the Chronicle, the two San Francisco nonprofits that currently run overdose prevention programs say they can't afford to run a safe injection site without a location funded by the city or, as in the case of New York, private donors. Later, an autopsy will be conducted on the body found in a vehicle in a reservoir near Truckee. Deceased is believed to be missing teenager Kylie Rodney. As KCBS's Matt Bigler reports, investigators are now trying to determine how her SUV ended up underwater.
Investigators from multiple agencies will be going over Kylie Rodney's Honda CR-V with a fine-tooth comb.
The FBI is working, evaluating the vehicle, come in and examine data, examine the vehicle, have all of our investigators look at that car.
Josh Hellers with the CHP says the case is now considered to be a fatal traffic collision. Initially, this was thought to be a kidnapping case after the 16-year-old disappeared from a large party at a nearby campground. The Nevada County Sheriff's Department admitted yesterday that characterization may have helped their investigation.
We also probably wouldn't have received all the services and all the people if that wasn't an option. If this was truly a search and rescue mission, we may not have had all the resources.
Later today, an autopsy will be conducted as well as a toxicology report, the results of which could take weeks. They released a statement saying, quote, "We accept this sadness cast under death's shadow. Kylie will surely remain with us, even though we will not get her back." Matt Bickler, KCBS.
Eight Antioch police officers at 10% of the city's police force are currently under investigation. Antioch Mayor Lamar Ford says they're accused of alleged crimes of moral turpitude. Comes 5 months after the Contra Costa DA's office launched a joint probe along with the FBI of Antioch and Pittsburgh police. The officers and details of the investigation not made public, but multiple law enforcement sources say the charges are related to alleged involvement with cocaine and steroids, and that federal authorities are also reviewing deadly use of force incidents. Mayor Thorpe pointed out he knew that when he ran for mayor that he'd be dealing with the fallout of years of insufficient police oversight, that he's made police reform his top priority. Early on, that 3 of its officers were being investigated. Review has led to the DA dropping dozens of active and closed cases, since many may have been compromised by officer misconduct. Still to come on KCBS.
I'm Jeffrey Schaub in Oakland's Little Saigon. Hold a vigil for yet another Asian American. This time, a popular female dentist gunned down in broad daylight.
Tell your youngsters to stop doing that violence.
10:08 at KCBS. There is big trouble trying to get to the San Mateo Bridge. We check it now with Dave Founts.
A major crash here. Good morning, westbound 92, right before the toll plaza. It's the 3 left lanes blocked by this injury crash. Now, the good news is we're just hearing from the CHP. They hope to get things cleared up in the next 5 minutes or so. But by the next report, hopefully we'll have all lanes open. Until then, traffic in a standstill back from Industrial. Westbound 580 Castro Valley, we're looking at slow traffic. It pretty much kicks in at Eden Canyon, continues on to 238, making the merge onto 880. Now, northbound 880 has been a tough drive all morning long, trying to get to Oakland because of an overnight accident. The Broadway off-ramp has been shut down by Caltrans to do the cleanup, and so traffic slow and go. Better than it has been, but right now it limit out of San Leandro from Marina all the way to Broadway. Bay Bridge Toll Plaza, meter lights are on. Traffic still stacked up from the 880 overcrossing. Danville, northbound 680. Cerro, that crash, it's been cleared. Traffic recovering. A few brake lights getting through Danville, but no big delays at the moment. Your next traffic update's at 10:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Hazy sunshine today after the morning fog and overcast burns off. We're looking at highs from the 60s and 70s at the water. 70s and 80s around the bay and low to mid-90s inland. Mostly cloudy tomorrow morning, then clouds burning off to sun in the afternoon. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Nature Valley is giving away back-to-school gear for free at the Retox Shop.
There you go. Gives you a few